from cabin boy of Arvida's ship to being a soldier that Garp sees as the future of the Marines. Koby's growth in terms of power has been like no other in One Piece. However, since the time skip, we haven't seen much of the young Marine until recently, where he once again shows why he's destined to be one of the strongest of all time. Before we delve into some Koby propaganda though, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like content like this. That'd be much appreciated. To truly grasp how ridiculous Koby's growth is and his current strength as of chapter 1088, we have to take it all the way back to the beginning of the story, to chapter 2, when Koby is introduced. Koby's introduced in the story as a kid that lacks a lot of self-belief. He's weak-willed. Even though he wants to escape from Arvida and created a boat for 2 years in order to do so, he can't bring himself to actually do it. He once had dreams of becoming a Marine officer, but then he dropped that dream because he thought he was fated to be the cabin boy of Arvida forever. However, everything changed when Koby met Luffy. Luffy inspired Koby to have the determination to become a Marine, after telling Koby his dream of becoming the king of the pirates and that he was going to try no matter what to achieve his dream, even if that meant dying. Essentially, Luffy was on that 50 Cent type of mindset: get rich or die trying. We move on to Shell's Town, where Luffy intends to recruit the demon in the east, Zoro, and Koby intends to join the Marines. A lot of things happen in this arc, but the main point is that after the defeat of the tyrannical leader Captain Morgans, Koby learned from Luffy and Zoro what it meant to fight in what you believe in, and this was the first real step that Koby took into achieving his dream as he entered the Marines. We don't see Koby for a while after this, but we do get a short story in the cover pages in the manga, as it shows us little bits of what Koby was doing as he entered the Marines. The main point is that at some point, Garp takes Koby under his wing and he goes through rigorous training. We see in chapter 1088 that Koby's mindset has always been to train 200 times harder than the next Marine because he's not that talented in combat. He's kind of like Asta from Black Clover or Rock Lee from Naruto. Because he's not like Luffy and Zoro were as kids who were fighting against grown men, he needs to put extra work in to reach the levels that Luffy and Zoro will at the end of the story. The mindset that Koby has is 100% not in vain, because we see the fruits of his labor in the post-Enies Lobby arc as he's reintroduced fighting against Luffy, and Koby shows the ability to use Soru, which is one of the Rokishiki techniques that are used by CP9. This was the first instance in the story when we as the readers could understand that Koby's potential and his growth rate is just ridiculous. He went from being the cabin boy of Arvida's ship in the weakest blue in the sea to in a few months being able to learn one of the Rokishiki powers that make you superhuman. It was also in this arc in which Koby declared his objective of one day capturing Luffy and one day becoming and achieving the rank of Admiral of the Navy. Admiral of the Navy is the rank that only those with the greatest fighting power in the Marines can hold. So Oda, by doing this, essentially told us what Koby's potential was going to be. He is someone that's going to reach the level of power that will one day be able to contend against future Pirate King Luffy, who will surpass the former Pirate King Roger. Now we move on to the time skip, and in this time Koby learns both observation and armament haki. In fact, the first time we saw Koby awaken observation haki was actually in the Marineford War, Paramount War, whatever you want to call it. After the Marines had already achieved their objective of trying to kill Whitebeard and Ace, they continued trying to kill all the pirates continued trying to kill all the Marines, and essentially this extreme situation for Koby mentally broke his observation haki, as he was able to sense all the voices and, the auras of all the people dying around him. We also know from Oda's notes in volume 1000 that Koby is now a Rokishiki master, meaning he knows all the 6 powers. However, it's not clear if he knows the secret skill Rokugan. During the time skip is also when the Rocky Port incident took place, and we don't know much details about that incident in general. However, Koby was named a hero after that incident for protecting civilians. Now to the Reverie arc, in which Koby is first reintroduced back into the story in the post-time skip. The first thing that he did was protect King Riku's ship from an incoming torpedo, and Helmeppo praises Koby's observation haki for sensing the torpedo in the first place because he couldn't sense it at all. It seems as though that the type of haki that Koby specializes in is observation haki, as it's also stated in the Virukar data book that Koby's observation haki is so sophisticated that he's able to sense a good estimate of other people's strength, referencing when he was able to tell that Kiros was very strong. Oda also notes in volume 1000 about Koby's abnormal growth in observation haki, so it's very clearly a trend that Koby is very good and talented at observation haki. All of this leads up to the events on Hachinosu when Sword Marines led by Garp went over to Blackbeard's Island in order to rescue Koby. When Pizarro threatened the lives of Marines and civilians while on Garp's ship, Garp hatched a plan to protect them from the island man. Garp was to create an opening by destroying Pizarro's head, Koby was to destroy Pizarro's arm that was going to destroy Garp's ship, and Groose was to catch the rubble that would fall as a result of Koby destroying Pizarro's arm. When Garp kickstarts the plan, he uses an attack named Galaxy Divide in which he infuses his fist with his Haki in order to destroy Pizarro's island head. Even though this greatly damaged Pizarro, Pizarro was able to take it and still carry on to try to destroy Garp's ship, which is a testament to his ridiculous endurance. Despite his old age, Garp is still strong enough to hold his own against a former Navy Admiral in Kuzan and the rest of the Blackbeard pirates, which includes strong Titanic captains like Shiryu. In his punch exchange against Kuzan, Garp was still strong enough to knock him down despite being injured by Shiryu. Kuzan is so strong that he fought toe-to-toe against Akainu for 10 days straight, who can endure island-splitting attacks from Whitebeard. So even though Garp's power has declined with age, the power of his Conqueror's-coated fist is not one to underestimate, and Pizarro being able to endure a named attack from Garp is insane. To put into perspective how ridiculous of a feat this is by Pizarro, Act 1 Wano Luffy was one-shot by Base Kaido's Thunder Bagua despite using Gear 4th. This is the same Luffy that had just surpassed Katakuri, and Pizarro is able to endure an even stronger attack from Garp. After getting the opening from Garp, Koby jumps in front of Pizarro's hand and fires his Honesty Impact Punch, which not only destroys the mountain-sized arm, but also significantly damages Pizarro. Now there's been a lot of discourse on whether Koby used Advanced Conquerors or Armament Haki with that punch. My interpretation of it is that Koby used only Armament Haki, but that's not to say that he's not a conqueror, it's just that this wasn't the moment for it to be revealed. Honesty Impact is essentially Koby's version of Garp's fighting style, and in this moment in particular, Koby destroyed Pizarro's arm without actually touching him, especially when you consider the fact that this was clearly an extreme situation for Koby, as if he failed, the blood of those on the ship would have been on his hands as he said. So I interpreted this moment as Koby advancing his Armament Haki through a Haki Bloom. Whether or not Koby has the emission level or the internal destruction level of Armament Haki isn't clear, as with both of these stages one can still attack without touching. Examples being Hyogoro in Udon and Luffy after completing his Ryo training. So just based on his raw power alone, Koby has proved himself to be a force to be reckoned with, even against a lot of Emperor commanders. This shouldn't come as a surprise though, as Koby is destined to compete against Pirate King Luffy in the future. I know sometimes when parallels are drawn between two characters, it can sometimes feel forced, but when it comes to Koby, nothing could be more clear than him being a clear new generation parallel to Garp. Garp back in the day was relentlessly trying to capture Roger. They had multiple fights in which they almost nearly killed each other, and they were essentially almost equals with one another. They even developed a mutual respect for each other, as Roger grew to trust Garp like one of his comrades as he asked him to raise his son Ace. Koby and Luffy basically started off their relationship as friends, and that's basically how they're always going to be, even though that Koby is going to be trying to capture him. So essentially it's a light-hearted version of what the dynamic between Roger and Garp was. All that's left for Koby now is to awaken Conqueror's Haki and master it to the highest level. He's currently confirmed to be a master of Rokishiki, can use both armament and observation Haki to a high level, and he has ridiculous raw power using the fighting style of Garp, the Fist. Anyways, that's all for the future of the Marines. If you enjoyed, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I've been the one and only Zage, and until next time.